And what's your friend's name, Craig? Curtis. Hello, Curtis.
Quality count.
Grandma's house is over there. Yeah.
Show Mama the fish. Show her different. Sherman brown up close and a rainbow up close.
Okay. Hold it up so I can see it.
Get it really close.
Marlene!
Tell me about the German brown that Joe knocked off.
Oh.
At least a 4 pound.
Inches long.
4
Inches long.
Okay, now.
Do we have a German brown? Notice the red spots, Uncle Cliff? It's not quite as big as the one that got away, though. Of course. Of course. Just ask Dad. And then the rainbows.
Oh, they are
Very
pretty.
common fish.
How many did you catch?
We must have caught about
Like
20 or so.
20, 30, 40.
We just kept the big ones.
Yes, Dad, and I'll say 50, so. The 2, 4, 5 here.
Wow.
It's funny how when you're on camera, your whole thing changes.
All right, you guys can walk off. I'll take a picture of you.
You get the wide angle lens in. Knife.
He was just a knife.
Grandma's.
Oh, you never have where porcelain is. Got 2 knives. We're having a gut contest.
They're going to have a gut. They're going to have a fish cleaning contest. We have one that is dull. The tip is bent massively. And then we have one of these samurai super sharp knives.
The handicap and I'll still whoop.
And we'll see who's going to win this contest.
I want this one.
This includes the blood vessel. It's the best we can do without water, okay?
Okay, let me measure that.
Okay, here's the table.
That's the 3rd one.
Just out here in the woods
Make sure
somewhere.
we get
Come out here in the woods.
Okay.
The first one to the 3rd one wins.
This right here is fine. No. We'll just get 2, one apiece.
Got 1, 2 apiece.
1 apiece. 2 apiece.
2 apiece.
Right.
The 3rd one goes to the winner.
I want to get the 3rd one.
Don't put it to the table, man.
Doesn't matter. We can wash off the table.
An equal opportunity better here.
You got to take them off the chain too. That's all a part of the action. When we say go.
Okay, we gotta get some the same size, okay?
Huh?
This one's the 3rd one.
Ready? Get set.
Up, hands behind our backs. Okay, we gotta come back here first.
Oh, give me the knife. Okay.
Ready? Get go. Don't cut yourselves, guys and gals.
Give me your knife.
Oh, shit.
Clinton, Dad, move Clinton.
That's what I got to go in the head, so whatever you're going to do.
Later, Dad.
Dude, you have to do the inside.
Perfect.
What?
You snooze, you lose.
No way. How did you do that already? I don't believe it.
You called him a city boy, Marlene?
Listen,
He'll show you his Montana
Give me the knife.
mountainness.
That's
You give me a
the
looking
sharpest
knife,
knife.
That's
Full.
cool. You got the nice one.
You got the nice one, Marlene.
Oh, crap. You have to use all knives.
You could tell Joe's done it before. Look at him.
Got a mama here.
In fact, Joe will even have the third fish all clean before she gets done with two.
Hey, hey, hey. Flying fish. No, the third one.
Get Bartel clean and fine weight. Where's that shower at? You have $1 type?
Smart, Alex.
Those are nice browns, aren't they? Pretty brown trout.
It's great.
Beautiful browns, German browns.
It's the first time I've ever got a fish before. I didn't think it'd be so messy.
Oh, right.
Go ahead and do the last one, Joe. Get it done. No use wait until after the millennium.
Oh,
I know.
Check your quality of work.
So when you're talking about me, it's quality and quantity. And they both have the same.
I'm afraid with that generator going, that's all you're going to pick up, Mom, is the generator noise.
Ought to be masculine.
You'll need to be a gracious winner.
Let me see your fish. Look, I got two mamas. What'd you get? Ooh, that does look good. Oh, good
Wanna
work.
bite?
What's my gum?
You guys just missed Marlene lose.
What's my one, two has a I can't hug Chuck.
Pick up the fish and I'll wash off the table.
I won, of course.
Put the knives in the fish and we'll wash them off over the Chuck, show them where the water comes Chuck.
It's falling.
Don't be a wimp. Come on.
Okay, don't you dare call me a
That's
wimp.
his German brown that's falling.
Oh, good, Grandma. Where are you? Thanks, Grandma.
Please bring back some more water.
Here, I'll find out.
That's good. Marsha's just going to eat there.
Thanks.
All right. That was good.
Okay. Who won?
Joe.
Joe did.
Joe?
Yes.
Wasn't even a contest.
All right. Don't you throw any big logs on there yet.
Yeah, these big ones.
Give me the action on those in front of them. We'll have a fire here in a minute, and we can sure cook up a lot of. We got a bunch of salad or something. What do we got to go with if we cook up?
All sorts of things. We have anything you want.
We have a fish night?
It depends on Grandma and Grandpa.
What are we going to have with the fish?
Well, we've got, I want to get everyone on.
Grandpa, there's a thin paper and just sort of thing. Did you get it, please? I don't want to get any pictures. So. They probably didn't park. They didn't walk those back when they never did.
Thanks.
Come on, Joe needs help. Marlene, Carrie. He said he needs volunteers. I don't know.
the idea. Company's ringing the radio.
Hello. Yeah. Marlene, hurry. Run.
Which way do I get on?
It took off with her. Well, honey, Honey, the horse is really acting up. We don't know. It won't mind Marlene. No. Which way is she going now?
Same way, that means same thing.
Oh, she's coming back? I better get back here.
No. Just get that sticker out of there. That was great. 2, 3. Make it what? All right. Tiger. 1, 2, 3. No, go put it up. Go put it up. Go put it up. Ooh, everyone likes it.
You guys win. When it starts. No, baby. The other horse.
She'll go try and gallop. You gotta watch her. Go line. She's really getting mad at us.
Move, Cindy.
Uh,
What do you want, what should we do, Grandma? Okay,
guiding towards the thing.
Okay.
Grandma, help.
You don't let him be the boss. You say, I am the boss.
Stop.
Now, you say, come on, let's
Come on, Cherokee. Come on.
going. Take him and say, come on, let's go. No, you get going.
Keep going. Come on. Start. Yeah. Come on, start. That's it.
See, that's the one that stepped on me, and I really...
Okay, I'll just leave it.
For her. I wish we knew if she rode double or not. Just
Well, honey, that
Cindy!
Mark was one that rode double with 2 girls, and Uncle Boyd said we shouldn't have done that because that got her all upset. No, that was, we're not riding him.
Oh, are you sure? Is this the one that you rode? Looks like it. I mean, Uncle Boyd said the one that with me is the one that you rode on.
To 'em.
Hold on.
We gotta go give them water. Wait, wait, stay
Bring them
away.
to get water.
They'll come back. They'll come back. Margot, why don't you pull it over to get water if you want? Over where the boys are going, over to the water tank. It's over by the barn. Oh yes, let's do. Go along the road, it's easier. Go on the road, it's easier. Okay. All right.
Wait, Charlene, is that, what's her name? This is Juanita. Okay, hold on. Hey, the tap's coming off. It's unhooked. Guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, Charlie, better try to have fun. I accidentally hit it. I found I got the little boy so cute over here dancing.
I hope it was on there.
We'll sit right here. It's too late. We haven't got time for any of those big long sermons.
Okay, you ready?
Now,
This is the Stratton clan. The front row is Grandpa and Grandma with Elizabeth Dana. The second row. Okay, everybody say hello. Deborah. Deborah.
hi, Uncle Chuck.
Hi, Carrie. What's your name?
Carrie.
Chuck. There's the girl that's always waving at the pictures. Do you see that big chew of gum she has? Because that's what makes her look so feminine before church. And if she stuck out her tongue, it'd all be purple. The guys like purple tongue. See that purple tongue? And there's Kimball. He has, what do you have, strep throat? Look at that kid. He just stuck his tongue out. He has strep throat. And that's Clinton. Hi, Clint.
Wait,
Say hi. Hi, Marlene. You know that little guy. You've seen him everywhere. That's Craig. There's Mama in the back, Marcia Romney Stratton. Marlisha, you're on candid camera. There's Cliff, Mr. Macho Flex. All right. Uncle Chuck and Bethany in the back. Let's zoom up on Bethany. Hi, Bethany. Oh, she's bashful like her Uncle Cliff. All right, here comes the open shot, kids. What's your name, Miss Movie Star? You ought to see Rachel on the diving board. She is incredible. See that long blonde hair? Beautiful. Come on, who's hiding behind her?
This Mom.
Hi, Mom. There's Carol Ann. Hi, Megs. This is Aunt Margaret. She's kind of the boss around here next to Mom. She's the one that made this whole thing work. And there's Bishop Gerald Dana, giving his good bishop smile, thinking, I'm going to raise your tithing, fella, if you don't turn that thing off.
That's right.
Uncle Cliff, you forgot Benji and Will.
Where's Benji and Will at?
Looky right down
Right
there.
in the middle.
Oh, Benji, the fisherman. How many fish did you catch, Benji?
2.
2? How big was the biggest? Show us how big the biggest
Don't
one
throw
was.
your arm out now.
Oh, yeah, there you go. No, they were big. They were big.
Willie.
Hey, Willie.
Hide behind Grandpa.
Hiding behind Grandpa.
Sit up. Well, there you go.
All right, Willie, say hi, everybody.
Sit on Grandpa.
We want to hear your voice. Say, I'm the best looking Stratton there is.
I'm the worst looking Stratton there is.
We won't argue with you.
Let me get you, Cliff.
Let's get one with you.
Everybody say goodbye.
Okay,
My name.
Dr. Stratton.
I'm camera shy.
Honey, nobody can see behind you.
I am very camera shy, Mom.
Nobody can see behind you.
I know better things than that.
Well, see, you're supposed to move in this one. Uh-huh.
Jimbo and Benjamin, I mean you too. Second.
No water fight.
It's right on.
I said I do.
Willie, would you do that?
That great big one over there in the white shirt.
The slides are just a little one.
We went home, took on open shots last week.
I know, and we all have it too. We just keep forgetting to put it on them before they go.
Get a big one, Chuck. Hey, handsome. Hey, handsome. Aw, you humble Strattons. Hey, gorgeous.
Married to Otto Flatten, widowed and married Walter Lazar. So I am Elizabeth Edward Street Flatten Lazar, and I am the matriarch of this family now, because all the rest of the ones that were bigger than me are not here now, so I get to be the big one. And I get to be the boss.
And she's 88 years old.
I was born in Tucson, Arizona, 8th-generation family.
What year?
And I was born on March the 2nd, 1899.
1899, kids.
So I am now 88 years old. And if anybody is any older, let me know.
No.
You're twice my age. I'm 44.
Yeah.
Does how we feel have anything to do with age?
Yeah, maybe we could run a full contest with that.
Okay.
Well, that's great.
Well, we'd like to welcome all of you to our official family home evening for the Stratton. And this was a wall hanging that was in her home.
She painted it?
It's painted on velvet.
And I tell you that this lady, my mother, lived and died. She died in 1904. And prior to that, these things that are her relics are all prior to 1904. So you all know how old they might be. I don't know when before that, but she was married to my father in 1889 and died in 1904. And so these things, my mother was an artist. She was an artist, and these things were really beautifully done.
Do you have a picture of her?
Oh,
They'll show us pictures.
yes, we're going to see
Is that all
pictures
right?
in just a minute. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That helps to put the dates on. Here's another one of her tapestries for the wall. I understand at one time it was much brighter colors than.
But, it was very beautiful.
It's still beautiful even now. In fact, I'm waiting to make a room where I can just really display all of these things beautifully, the way they should be displayed.
But they're telling us that those things are over 100 years old.
Well, yes, they are
Right on
about that time.
In 20 years, they'll be 100 years. So, well, they're
Sure.
right
That's
after
from her
sure
death.
they'll be 100. They could easily be 100
She
right
could
now.
have.
They're easily over 100
Of course,
years
she
old.
was born in 1868 and died in 1904. So that is the period of time that she lived, and she could have done something.
And this was an old piano stool cover, piano bench cover. You can see it's quite stained.
And these are ribbons that are put on here and embroidered.
I would say if you girls would all do something like that and pass it down, when you are dead and buried 100 years, and all your great-grandkids will be going, ooh,
Oh,
just lose it. Yeah.
and then this is a little bodice that, a part of a dress that she, it looks like either was making or had made and had been torn apart. But look how tiny she was. Is there anyone that almost was in Lizzie's size, I think. You have to see the hand stitching on this and how beautifully done it was. Just
Show me the hand stitching, Meg, so I can get up close. No, that's okay. Just sit where you are, but show me. Show me where the hand stitching is.
well, you can see all the buttonholes are hand sewn. All of the stitches inside. Well, now they did have a sewing machine. They had one of the first sewing machines in the whole territory, and so this was stitched on a sewing machine. But the hand
All
work.
the people in that time period were small. If you go to museums,
Well, they had to be because they corseted them in very tight, and they had to have very small waistlines to be a chic.
In fashion.
but their shoes were all little tiny, like this. And even men's shoes. The biggest men's shoes you find back in the 1800s were a size 8. Well, now we're healthier, we live longer. Most people died at 40, 57 or 40, something like that.
only
Was
36
the
when she died.
Picture from
was the lifespan.
her mother. She's the one right here in this picture, and of course she's in these pictures here. You may even
Now, is this their grandma? This is my mother.
Your
And then on this side is my mother. But this is her sister, and my father's sister. Those are two aunts from, and this is at my grandmother's home, but I cannot tell you the people in it.
Would be your great.
as she was married.
Who was that?
And this is Margaret Hughes Treat.
three great-grandmother, the one who did all the artwork.
She
her
was
mother.
my mother. She was the mother of Margaret, your Pat's mother, your grandmother.
She was my grandmother.
And first they would have a
Tiara.
they would have had a kind of a comb back here that would have held this up like this, so that when she had it around on her like this, it would, I can't see what it's doing here, but she would have this kind of puffed up here because she would have a comb on it.
This is the Margaret Frances Hughes Treat mantilla, wedding mantilla, and Meg's used it when she got married, and it was 103 years old when she wore it.
You've been married how
And
long?
we've been married, Gerald, how long?
Oh,
17 years, almost 17 years? 16.
so that's 120 years old.
And Lizzie?
18 years.
And Lizzie? Who's your mother?
69. This is 87.
Now, I'll tell you about that.
123 years old.
So that mantilla is 123 years old.
Your what?
That I brought, that's what I've been looking for. And when I find it, I will give it to the head of each. I will give it to the head of each household. Margaret Frances Hughes Treat, who we've been talking about, she did beautiful embroidery work, and also she had these beautiful doilies that she made. And I have a full set of them, and I wish I could find those. They're in the house somewhere. If anybody finds a sack that has some aqua-colored fabric in it, so these picture frames are wrapped up in it. And the picture frames has a kind of a maroon, magenta background of velvet. And this velvet was velvet that your my grandmother, Margaret Black, used in her jewelry store windows to display the diamonds and the watches. And I would go there in the summer, and my favorite thing to do would be to redo her window and put all these beautiful velvet and the diamonds and everything on it. And so Mother gave me some of that velvet, and so I cut out that for the background. So the velvet is from your Grandma Black's windows from her jewelry store, and then the beautiful white doily is the doily that was made by Margaret Frances Hughes Treat, by Grandma's mother, my grandma's mother. And here's a napkin ring that says Maggie on it. That was whose?
Well, that was my mother's.
And the napkin ring?
Uh-huh.
Now, Aunt Lizzie's mother?
Yes, this is the same woman that
This
we
is
were
the
talking
same
about.
one that we're talking about.
Okay, listen, Grandma.
Hey, tell us the story.
Well, my grandfather and grandmother, my mother and father, and and I and my Aunt Sis and her husband, Uncle Clem, they all went fishing. We went to Greer where we all went also. The men went out to go fishing in one of the Greer lakes. Bunch Lake. They got about 50 feet from the shore and remembered they hadn't bought their worms. So my Uncle Slim, without thinking, stood up in the boat. It capsized and my father's foot was under the seat and caught. And everybody said, go get Grandpa. Swim out and get Grandpa because he had a stroke and he couldn't swim. He was paralyzed on his side. So everybody went to get Grandpa and save his life. And my mother knew that my dad couldn't swim, so she went out to find my dad. She couldn't find him, and he had his foot underneath the boat. And so she dived down, and she got him loose and brought him in. And she had that watch on. She went in clothes and all, like we saved my father's life. And when he got she said, girls, get this water out of your dad. And she had my sister pump one leg, and I pumped one leg, and she had my Aunt Sis run and get a doctor, and somebody else, Uncle Slim hold his tongue, and somebody else put him on a rock and roll him and get the water out of his, and she saved his life.
Who has the watch? Show me Cliff the watch.
Was your dad that had it?
It had diamonds and everything. My mother saved
Your father?
Yeah.
So mom and dad, right?
My mom.
Great grandfather.
That's the one that's all
Sing and keep sacred covenants. Seek promised blessings of the priesthood through obedience. Live my life to claim the blessings sweet of exaltation. My testimony growing each new day. I walk by faith, a daughter of heavenly parents. Divine am I in nature by inheritance. The Spirit whispers of my mission, my individual worth. So I seek for precious knowledge, for learning and for growth. I understand the meaning of accountability. Every choice for good or ill is my responsibility. I want to build the kingdom, and good works is the key. For doing what I know is right, I show integrity. I walk by faith, a daughter of heavenly parents. Divine am I in nature by inheritance. And someday when God has proven me, I'll see Him face to face. Just for here and now, I walk by faith. I walk by faith, a daughter of heavenly parents. Divine am I in nature by inheritance. And someday when God has proven me, I'll see Him face to face. But just for here and now, I walk by faith. Yes, just for here and now, I walk by
I'm sure that all of you will have known that you came from beautiful people. We have had a very wonderful background, and following our background that I am an age from, I see all these beautiful faces that are going to keep our heritage living forever and ever. You are going to be the mothers and fathers of our future generations. But I would like you to know something about your generations. And if you will bear with me, I'll try to give you a little history of our lives. In that first picture of my mother and father, my mother was a child of the very famous and renowned pioneer Arizonian Samuel and Athanassia Hughes. My mother was Margaret Francis, and she had, in 1889, she married Frank Shrewsbury Treat. Frank Shrewsbury Treat was born and raised in Atchison, Kansas, and came to Arizona as a young man about 18 or 19 on a cattle train because he had just got out of school and was looking for a future. And he found his future in Arizona, and he found the best part of the future was this very beautiful and lovely Margaret Francis, whom we know as Maggie Hughes. Maggie and father were married very, very, I didn't mean to say that. They were married one very early morning by chance. Father was on his way on a cattle train, taking cattle from Arizona back to wherever, Missouri or Kansas. And when he got to the little town of Wilcox, the cattle had to be taken off the train to be watered. And he began to get worried, quite worried, about his little friend that he left behind. This gentleman in this picture, whose name was Van Kuren, and he didn't like it because he was kind of sweet on this Margaret. So he decided, while the cattle were watering, he would hike on a freight train back to Tucson, where they were, and he arrived about 5 o'clock in the morning at my grandmother's home, and he woke them all up, and he said, I brought the preacher, we're getting married. And he got married, and then he left and went back to his cattle train and on his way, but he left his little bride married so Van Kuren couldn't feed his time. So this is Margaret and Frank Treat, my mother and father, and because of them, they had, I've got these mixed up now. The 7 children are in this picture, and this little picture was taken in 1904, and the background is our home that my grandparents gave to my parents after father came back, and then they really had a marriage. And so this is how the Treat family began. And in this picture was taken at the same time of my mother's death in 1904. And this is the little family that she left. And I'll tell you their names, then we'll pass it around.
Okay, point to them and show us their names. Point to them on the picture and give us their names.
I'll hold it while you
Hold
point.
it right there, I had it. That's perfect.
Now you point.
Okay. The man in the background, this is on a bicycle. The man in the background was a friend of my father's from Atchison, Kansas, that had come to the funeral, and his name was Luther Higby. But then on his shoulder was the second child from the youngest, Ted, known as Ted, but he was Theodore Cooper. And then sitting right up here with his hair right straight back and blonde is your grandmother, Margaret Treat. And then sitting next to her is the one that we have known as Aunt Sister. She was named Athanassia from her grandmother. Her grandmother was Athanassia. So this is, but she never went by Athanassia. It was always Aunt Sis. And so then, of course, this beautiful little child with a hair bow has to be me. And this is Brother Frank, who is just a year older than me. And this is our baby, who is Dick. He was Richard Garrier, but he was always known as Dick. And so these are the children of the treats. Those, and this, of course, then is a later picture of Father as I remember him.
Aunt Sis used to always tease us.
He was quite a figure around there, and he was very dashing and very handsome. And he moved then to Benson because he had a good friend that was a Republican, and he and the Republican both ran for the same office, and the Republican won. And Father decided that it was time for him to get out of politics, so he moved to the little town of Benson, where about 900 people, counting the cats and the dogs, and all the little Mexicans and the little Indians and the little Chinese people all lived. And this is where we made our home, was in Benson, Arizona.
What year was
In
that?
1909. And this is 1909 when Father moved to Benson. And this is a panoramic picture of Benson. And this is our home in Benson. And then your your grandmother, Margaret Black, inherited this one on his death. And this is the home now, and she sold it to some people by the name of Gardners who still live there. And this is the home as it is now. And on the other side is one of my uncles, but I can't tell much about him. And this picture is a picture of the first white-faced Herefords introduced into the state of Arizona. And this is a picture out at the ranch, and they were all celebrating the arrival of the cattle that he brought in. And it hadn't received them very well, but Father is standing here in the foreground. And then there is a lady in the picture holding an infant, and that is my sister Mabel, who is the oldest in our family. And so this is a very prized historical picture because of that.
The white-faced Herefords are the brown ones, kids. The white faces that you see in a lot of the ranches around.
Well, this was taken now. They call it out at the Tortolitas, which are mountains out there. And then on the opposite side of this is a picture of the Sam Hughes home and Grandfather Hughes and my sister Mabel. I have a sister Mabel, and incidentally, if I take time to tell you, she is now 96 years old, and she lives in Quantico, Virginia. Or really, she lives in a town called Triangle, which is right outside of Quantico. So that is Mabel. And Mabel was the first child in the Creek family. Now, a little story of my father and my mother and this same Mrs. Higbee. They were friends that used to come and visit us periodically. Well, they used to come and they used to take a lot of pictures. And so this is Father and Mrs. Higbee. And in the back, peeking over Daddy, is my mother, Margaret Frances Hughes. And then behind Daddy is my sister Addie, or Aunt Sis. And the front is the baby, and that's my brother Frank. And this was taken before I was born. So, and then there's a little picture here of a child. This was Mother's third child, and his name was Tommy. And when he was 2 years old, he contracted diphtheria and died. And my mother was at that time carrying your grandmother, and she had diphtheria following this. So this is Tommy, who died.
Can you explain to him what diphtheria is?
Diphtheria was a very contagious disease that is no longer. However, I recently heard a child had it. It was some type of a disease to the throat. I don't know too much about it, but your grandmother always had, they said she was a germ carrier. But she had it, I think she had it at least twice during her lifetime when she was small.
Don't you turn black?
I had diphtheria when I was a kid.
And
when I was a sophomore in high school.
you can't see this picture, but this is Daddy and Ted.
Just a minute.
I had diphtheria when I was a sophomore in high school. And my very best friend had it too. We went up to the little town of Delta, which had been quarantined. The whole town has been quarantined.
Now, I'm telling you about the Treat family, but I would like now to tell you the background of the Treat and Hughes marriage. So, my mother was Margaret Hughes Treat, and my mother's father and mother were Sam and Adonijah Hughes. Now, of course, I don't have to explain that to Clifford Stratton over here, and his family probably knows more about it than I do. But anyway, our grandfather came into the area, into the Tucson area, in about the year of not 1855 or 6.
That's 10 years before the Civil War started. Does that give you an idea of when it was?
Arizona was at the time prior to 1854. Arizona was a portion of Mexico, and in 1854, the United States bought the territory from Mexico to make the state of Arizona. And so my grandmother, though, was born in Mexico in 1850, and her name was this Adonijah Hughes, Adonijah Santa Cruz Hughes. And Adonijah and my grandfather, Samuel Hughes, married at the Santa Vera Mission, and our background, and I will tell you this, that you are a family of 8 generations born in the state of Arizona, considering that grandmother was born actually in Mexico, but was Arizona. Yes.
It's the Santa Vera Mission.
And I have here. So grandfather Sam Hughes was a very famous man, and he was married to Adonijah. And this is a picture of 2 of his sons, Dave and Sam. And in that one picture with my mother was a picture of my mother and Dave and Sam.
And here's another picture of Sam Hughes.
You might tell them that, well, I will. There's a school down in Tucson. The Hughes School.
Samuel Hughes School.
And you walk in the front door and there's whole pictures over the whole wall.
And I'll have you know that my mother painted that. No, she didn't paint that one. The one that my mother painted of him is in the Masonic Hall in Tucson. This is mother with her 2 brothers, Sam and Dave. And they were the 2 first children. But don't waste any time thinking that they were spoiled, because they were the sisters and brothers of not 10, but 15 children. And my mother was the 2nd child of the family, and Sam and Dave were
You kids know whenever she says my mother, that's your great grandmother she's talking about.
Yes, I'm talking about Margaret Hughes.
No,
In the picture, it looks like your mother is the oldest in that picture.
My mother. See, I'm talking about my mother, but she also is the mother of Margaret Black,
My mother.
of Pat's mother.
Your grandmother.
Now this is Adonijah.
Light on in the corner, and that
This
light
is a
there. Put
picture
them both up on high.
of Adonijah in her late years, and when she was around 80, I think, or 82. But they were married in 1862 in the Santa Vera Mission. But in 1912, and that's a long time ago, they celebrated their 50th anniversary. And this is a picture of at that anniversary time. And in the picture is my grandmother and grandfather, and their first child is this lady, also Lizzie. But she was not Elizabeth especially. She was, the Spanish pronunciation is Isabel. And so she liked Lizzie, so she had always went with Lizzie. And then this is Lizzie's daughter, and this is Lizzie's husband, who was J. Knox Corbett. And this is the daughter's daughter. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4 generations.
And the Corbetts are very famous rich people in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, well, there's quite a lot of, and their home was there. At this time in Tucson, they were infested a great deal by the surrounding Apaches, and so security was pretty shaky. So the mission was the only place that they could go to be married, because that was the only church in the area. And the mission was 9 miles south of Tucson. So periodically, probably like once a year or 6 months, the people that wanted to be married got together and they formed a regular caravan. And then the soldiers took them to the mission. And they would spend the day there, and all the people would have their weddings one by one or however. And so this happened to my grandmother and grandfather. And my grandmother, Adonasha, was 13 years old, and my grandfather, Sam Hughes, was 29 years old.
She was 13 when she was married.
Oh. Carrie, you're 13.
Deborah, you're 13.
This is a picture.
It's like marrying somebody
then,
29. You
Uncle Chuck's age. She married something of Uncle Chuck's age.
In Arizona. She was the mother of everybody. Now Tom was a brother of Sam Hughes, and Tom had a family of 9 children. The first and the last were girls and 7 boys. And the mother was killed in an accident when the baby was just 3 months old, and she was the age of my sister Addie. Well, Aunt Annie took those little children and raised them, and she was just a very normal lady that I don't know where or how, but she raised those children, and then the father got killed, so she took them all over, and each one of those 9 children were college educated. And they were, each one sent to school and made their way because of her. But she had a big home, and because she wasn't married, all of the children, and I'm speaking of all the grandchildren like all of you would be, everybody went to Aunt Annie, because Aunt Annie was the one person that everybody loved, because when they didn't get along at home or when things went wrong, it was always Aunt Addie that ironed everything out. And then as she got older, she used to take in the little Mexican children, because she lived in a little Mexican area, and they had what they call a barrio libre, which is the poor, part of the town, and all these poor little Mexican children. She lived right near the school, so she gathered them all up at noon and fed them their lunches every day. She cooked lunches for maybe 50 or 40 kids. And then as time went on, she adopted different children, and she didn't really adopt them legally, but she was like a foster mother, and she took care of children. And then when she was so old that she left to live in another home with her, one of her children. She donated her home to what we call the Arizona Children's Home, which still exists in Tucson. However, it is not the same home now. They have a different home that they have built. But she donated this home to the Arizona Children's Home, which started the children's home for little foster children. And this was our Aunt Annie Hughes, and we loved her. She was a very precious and a very loving person, and very, very endearing. And everybody used to go to Aunt Annie's. And on one day, on Saturdays, Sister and I used to go down there and stay all night, because on Sunday morning, hot cakes started coming up like this on the table, and it wasn't very long till the hot cakes were done.
Ready? We have been born as if by a bowl to goodly parents in love the Lord. We have been taught and we understand that we must do as the Lord commands. We are as the army of Helaman. We have been taught in our youth, and we will be the Lord's missionaries to bring the world His truth. We have been saved for these latter days to build the kingdom in righteous ways. We hear the words our prophet declares, let each who's worthy go forth and share. We are as the army of Helaman. We have been taught in our youth, and we will be the Lord's missionaries to bring the world His truth. We know His plan, and we will prepare, increase our knowledge through study and prayer. Daily we'll learn until we are called to take the gospel to all the world. We are as the army of Helaman. We have been taught in our youth, and we will be the Lord's missionaries to bring the world His truth. We are God's children, we have received the blessings promised to Abraham's seed. We'll share the gospel, this is our quest, to every nation on earth is blessed. We are as the army of Helaman. We have been taught in our youth, and we will be the Lord's missionaries to bring the world His truth, to bring the world His truth.
And this is Albert H. Black. And Elizabeth just told you about the Hughes side and the Santa Cruz and Borquez side. This is the other side of the family. This is Grandpa Black's side. Okay? This is his daddy and his mother. And the artifacts that I have, let me tell you the story. Albert Black was a salesman. He used to sell farm-type equipment. And he was away from home when his wife, who had a baby, went out because she was cold, went out to get some coal, and she slipped on some coal out in the coal shed. And rather than hurt the baby, she twisted and fell and had the baby land on top of her. And as a result of that injury, she died a few days later. Okay, so Albert H. Black came back as quickly as he could, and of course his wife was soon passed away thereafter. And he then, after a while, married a woman named Rose McGuire, which is this woman here. You can't see that, probably. Okay, but Albert H. Black, this is his wedding ring here. And I'll pass this around. This is Albert H. Black's wedding ring that Eliza Jane Morrison gave him, I assume. Okay, and this is Rose McGuire's ring that she wore. Only someone ripped off the stone. Okay, but this is the wedding ring, and so we'll pass these around for everybody to take a look at.
That's my father and grandfather, Black. My name is Black as well.
That's Mama's grandpa, right?
He told me, he said, son, you're going to meet a lot of girls down there, and he says, you go with them and have fun and everything else, but when you get ready to get married, he said, I want you to come back to Utah and get your little Mormon girl and marry her. And, well, you can imagine how I felt, but I got married down here and took your grandmother up to meet my parents.
Tell me a little bit about Carol. What was she like when she was growing up?
She was Penny. She was just from heaven. We were the happiest people in the world when she came into our lives. She was so precious.
Was she born here in Winslow?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was born in Winslow.
What was she like when she was growing up as a little girl?
She had so much empathy for people. She felt so sorry for them. If things weren't right, or if they didn't feel good or hurt themselves, her empathy just went out. Her heart was so full. And she and her girlfriend, Carol, we had a piano right here. And I always knew how your mother felt by the way she played the piano.
Oh, really?
If she was happy, she'd come and play, and I could tell just how she felt.
And how was she in high school? What was she like in high school? What was she like in high school?
She was so studious. She was serious at times. She wanted to learn everything. She was so much like her daddy. She had such a wonderful brain and desire to learn and do. And she, besides working at school, she worked as at the hospital. I forget what they call the girls when they come in and go to take magazines.
Candy stripers? Is that?
Candy striper. That's what she was. And she'd come in after working all day in school. She'd go to the hospital. She wanted to. She wanted to do it. But she'd get so tired working. We tried to get her to slow down. But she had a fun side too. She loved to dance and sing, and her music. She loved her music.
Was she into sports, or was she into music?
No, but she was a good swimmer.
Yeah.
She loved the water too. She was a really good swimmer. Well, they didn't have too much sports for girls. They had like a basketball game way back in the 1900s, but nothing real sports. It's just something for girls to do. Nothing like sports today.
Yeah. What about Cliff? What was he like when he was growing up?
His mind, he wanted to be everything. He wanted to be everything. He was interested in everything. And he took it. He was a lot like you. When he got hold of something, he just did it with all his heart. Nobody better get near him because he was so good at things. His mind was like his dad. He was so smart. And well, Carol Ann was too. All my kids, their minds, well, they've got all the brains in the world. They're like their dad.
When did Cliff know that he wanted to be a doctor?
You know, maybe it was research. He loved to find out about things and research till he found out just what he wanted to do. And then he just, with all his heart, he had this big microscope at the medical school, and oh, he was in his glory, like you with pictures, when he could put something under that microscope and figure out what it was all about. He was so happy.
What did he used to call Carol Ann?
Oh, she couldn't, when Cliff was born, well, he couldn't say Carol Ann after he got a little older, so he called her Judy Ann. But she was our little angel. We just loved Carol Ann so much.
And what was Meg's like when she was growing up?
She was inquisitive too. She had so much depth and feeling for things. She could write. One time she had an assignment and she couldn't think of anything to write. Here was a deadline. So she looked down on the floor and there was a bobby pin. And so she wrote the most beautiful story in the world about this little old bobby pin. And that's where she was. She just, you know, they were all active and they loved sports. They loved activities. They were just wonderful children.
And then what was Chuck like when he was growing up? What was Chuck like when he was growing up?
He was so adorable. We just loved him. We didn't know what to do with him except love him. And one time, when your mother was babysitting her little brother, Chuck, he messed his pants. And we weren't here, and they all said, Carol Ann, you do it. Carol Ann, you do it. And she said, I'm not touching that. So she went and got a pair of scissors and cut it out of his diaper. She didn't want to touch it.
Could you tell me a little bit about your courtship with Cliff?
Oh, yeah, a year, a month, a week. It was beautiful. Just a beautiful, just all of a sudden my life here was this beautiful, beautiful experience.
Tell me about how you guys ended up finally meeting, why you didn't meet each other sooner.
Well, I met him in a dance. In the fall, they'd have one big dance a year with a live orchestra, and people from all the old ranches would come into Winslow to go to this kind of a cowboy dance. Everybody would come out in their cowboy hats and their boots, and everybody from the country would come to this one dance once a year in the fall. And that's where I met Cliff. He came and asked for a dance, and I said, well, I'll give you about the 15th or the 17th. He says, I want to dance tonight. And so he just stood around till one of the guys didn't show up. He went out to get a drink and didn't get back in time for the dance. So Cliff just whisked me away, and we danced, and that's how we met. And pretty special.
And he was going to, where was he teaching at the time? Where was he teaching at the time?
Well, he was teaching at Winslow High School.
And why didn't you guys meet sooner?
Well, I was away at school, and I would come home for the summers, and then he would go home for the summers.
Which was where?
And we just missed each other. And he asked a friend, he said, who's that? When I danced by, and he said, oh, that's Pat Black. Don't you know her? He said, introduce me. So.
And tell me about the confusion with all the boys who were trying to get you to marry them?
Oh, that's so personal. I just share it with you.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. Can you tell me about swimming?
Oh, that
Why?
was my life. I saw a puddle of water, I had to go in it. I don't care what it was. Well, I just love to swim, and actually, it was the best babysitter my parents had, to tell you the truth, because they both were head up with their work. They both had in business, working, and my dad was a watchmaker. My mother had to keep house and take care of 2 girls and work. And boy, I was so active, if they could find a place for me to be, that was fine with them.
What was the first time you remember swimming? Do you remember there was a first time?
Oh, yes, we were out at the beach, and I didn't know how to swim. I was just a little tiny kid. And I had to figure out how I was going to get out in that water and ride a wave in. And so when I saw a bunch of boys with a big rope that went clear out into the water, I thought, that's what I'll do. So I got a hold of that rope and I went clear out into the water and held onto those boys and that rope. And I couldn't swim a bit. I didn't know a thing about floating or anything. Here I was, way out there in nowhere. And that's how I learned to swim. And boy, every day I went and we did the same thing. Went way, way out there and rode those waves in.
Wow. How old were you?
I don't remember, but then I just started swimming and found out I loved it.
What's your favorite experience about swimming or swimming? Remember earlier? Was it a match that you won or fun with your girlfriends?
Well, I think it was fun at the university when I was doing synchronized swimming, and I was on the swim team. And swimming with other people, I'd never done that before. Having to do just exactly what they did and how they did it. And that was quite a nice experience. That we make all these beautiful forms with our bodies. And
why synchronized swimming? Was it because there wasn't any other sport for swimming for women, or was that just what brought you to synchronized swimming?
Well, I'd love to track and everything. I love all sports. And one time when I was in school, I read somewhere on the bulletin board that there was a state track meet at NAU, and I wanted to go so bad. So I talked to a girl that I knew into going with me. So we got on the train, we walked clear up to the college from the train depot, and we entered everything they had. The relay with 2 people, 4 people relay, we entered that. The broad jump, the high jump, the hurdles, everything. And when we all sat down and when they were giving out the awards, we came in 3rd in the state. So every time we see each other on the street, we giggle about that.
That's awesome.
But I love sports. If there was something to do, to run, and I'd come home from school and I'd do flips, to walk in the door and I'd flip over the couch. I mean, I was just active all the time. I could never sit still.
Can you tell me about the hill?
Oh, our kids loved that hill.
Was it the one that was out here?
That was, in fact, that's one reason we were glad we had this house. We didn't have a choice when we bought this house. It was during the war, and there weren't any houses available. And the man, Cliff, accidentally met this man and his wife at the depot, and he said they were moving because his wife was too ill to stay here. Mm-hmm. He said, "Maybe buy your house." I said, "Yes, you can have it." So that's how we got this house.
Wow.
We didn't have a choice, and so it was.
Where were you living before that? Where'd you live after you got married?
We have a little house right across the street from here. You know, when we first got married, we were right across the street from the Lincoln School, and we had a little apartment. And I told you this about the little apartment. When this lady came in, I was working at Sears Roebuck in the catalog department, and she'd come in and keep ordering these big things for a house, you know. And I said, "Are you moving?" She says, "No, I'm retiring. I just want some money coming in after I retire." And I said, "Oh, can Cliff and I have your house, little apartment?" She says, "Sure, I'd love if you and Cliff." And said, "In fact, you can order everything. I'll tell you what I want, and you just order it out of the catalog." So that's how we got our first apartment, just stone drawer and everything brand new.
Oh, that's very cool.
It was Grandpa's joke. He didn't mean it either. He didn't mean it. If we'd had another child, he would have loved that child. Your grandfather was always a joke. Everything, he wanted to make people laugh and feel good.
Yeah.
So he made jokes out of everything, just so people could feel good.
Was it Cliff or was it your grandpa, the DDP? The Deer Dam Public?
I didn't quite...
The Deer Dam Public? Was that Grandpa Black?
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Bless me?
The DDP, the Deer Dam Public?
Oh, that's what my dad called the public. He worked so hard. And he was a watchmaker, and he just get busy working on the watch, and here comes somebody in just to visit or will bother him. He'd been the happy kid, he'd been all by himself fixing watches, so he just called him the Deer Dam Public. You had to be real nice to him, but they were sure bothering him.
Can you tell me about your dad some more? Can you tell me about your dad? What was he like?
Oh, he was so interested in everything. He was a wonderful man. He was very brilliant. They were in business for 50 years. Went through 2 world wars and a couple other wars, like the Korean War, and a Great Depression, when if anybody had a penny, they felt rich, and they survived. That's how they were survivors, my mom and dad. And my dad, he loved the world. He wanted to know all about the world he lived in and what happened and why it happened and how it was made, and he wanted to know everything. And he wanted the town to be perfect. And so he would sit down and work on a watch and muddy roads, and he'd see these women with the long dresses and high-top shoes walking across the street. And he says, "We're about to pave these streets, these women, and these kids can't play in these muddy streets." So he became mayor, and he was on the city council 18 years, and he paved the streets. And then he wanted an airport out here. So he got, with the other help of a lot of other people, they got Lindbergh to come, and he planned the airport out here. And just the last couple of years, they've named it after Lindbergh. And my dad loved the swimming pool. He wanted me not to have to go out the creek all the time, so he said, "We're going to build a pool for these kids. And every kid in town can swim, no matter who they are or what they are, for 10 cents. And so that's how we got the pool. I was the first one in it. The city council came and Daddy let me go to the meeting. They had the meeting at the pool. And he says, "You ought to be the first one at the pool." So they all picked me up and threw me in the pool. My dad he's so interested in everything.
Did that keep you from going to Clear Creek, or did you keep going to Clear Creek even though there was a pool?
Nothing stops anybody from going to Clear Creek. But went to the pool an awful lot.
What do you like about Clear Creek? What do you like about Clear Creek?
Just diving, swimming, playing, running on the rocks, activity. I just love to climb and swim, and
Can you tell me about Cliff and the railroad?
Oh, he went, when we were going together, he wanted to stay in Winslow, so he went railroading. And he could make 2 or 3 times more on the railroad than he could teach in school. And at that time, he was proposing we were planning to get married. And he liked it so well, he just stayed there because he was raised on a farm. He loved the outdoors and the activity of, he was a sportsman, a great sportsman himself. Mm-hmm. He went all through school on sports scholarships. He was on his own at 16, going through school, putting himself through school. He wanted to become a doctor. Maybe that's why Cliff wanted to too, because his dad wanted to. But he had saved his money to start going to become a doctor, medical school. But the Great Depression was there, and his dad needed the money, so he had to give the money to his dad.
So was he a teacher when you guys were married, or was he always in the railroad?
He was teaching when we were married. Cliff. He was teaching at high school. He was a commercial teacher.
How long did he teach?
He was a coach at Roundabout High School for 3 years. Then he taught in Winslow High School 2 years. Then went railroading and was railroader for 41 years.
That's awesome. Can you tell me about your sister?
Oh, she was so beautiful, so dainty, so delicate, so talented, so wonderful, beautiful. I mean, she just like a China doll, So she had so much talent. She could sit down at the piano and play a piece of, without any music, just sit down and play a piece of music.
So was she the tomboy?
Oh no, she loved to swim. We went swimming a lot, but she was for the arts and just the opposite from me.
Tell me about how your mom would put her in the window.
Oh, she was so delicate and beautiful, all these long curls, and they would put her in the window, and she just play there all day, sit there, and be happy with the people go by and wave to her, and they never could put me in that window.
Tell me about how you and Cliff dealt with money and how you had your own money.
Oh, well, we just sat down together and figured this was about what we're going to have all coming in. He didn't want me to work. The man that I worked at Sears came by and after we were married and asked me if I'd come back to work. And Cliff says, no, my wife's not working. And so he said, this is how much money we have, and this is how much is going to go out for bills and expenses, and this is, maybe we won't have anything left, maybe we will, but this is, we did it together. And then in order to make it just a little more peaceful for us, maybe physically mentally that we had something of our own, we just set aside a few $100. This is yours and this is mine, and no questions asked. You can spend the money just the way you want it. If you wanted to buy a golf club or anything, I didn't have to ask him if I wanted to go spend it, but I usually saved mine, and I would send it in a kitty, so anytime anybody in the family needed some money, even him, I would have some money to hand to over. I just loved giving my kids that extra money that I had, just to see their happy faces.
And what was that called?
A kitty. I wish you were here and I was hearing about your life.
My life's
It's so much more interesting.
It is not much more interesting.
Are we taking the shuttle to another point?
Don't hang on the railing, please. Hello, are we going?
Not a mule. Yep. I'm not liking this much either. Okay.
What do you think, Kyle?
I'm going out.
No, you're gonna stay with us. Look at these flowers, Kate. Those flowers smell really good. Did you see? Okay. Let me see your eyes. They're so pretty with that. We all have the same eyes. And I was like, I can put pictures of me and my friends. What do you want me to do? You know, it's like, have fun. I go out every night. Pretty much.
Come on, Rig! Good job, buddy.
Right.
Whoa! There you go. Oh, that was good.
Dad, Uncle Cliff said I can stay until 1 o'clock in the morning.
I've been cleaning his skin when they come to pick up. Excuse me.
Oh, you bastard. No, what? Oh, Sean, how neat. You must have a unique one. Mine doesn't have.
Do you think Kayla would be able to fit in it? Because it's not going to fit me next time.
It's gonna get dark.
Can you,
Oh! Ow! Did you see that?
You got 40 balls.
That's him. The three of us girls had to sleep in one bed, so Ashley one way, me the other way, and Chantal the other way. Sing along if you know it. All of you, I know you know it. It is higher.
all my fears, and I am thankful.
Now the boys try their part.
Teaching me how to trust and our crystal clear, for love is spoken here. So kneeling with our family each day, I hear the words she whispers as she bows her head to pray. We're forward to the Father, teaching all my fears, and I am thankful that love is spoken, love is spoken. I can often feel the Savior near, and love is spoken here.
So what I want you to notice, my mother, because I would see her working to be so beautiful, and I would just admire them so much. So I want all you girls to look at your hands and see.
Right here. Yes, I'm right here.
Maybe the have these, pull them out. Pull out, if you have one of these, pull it out and share with your neighbor, would you? Okay? What I want you to notice is who is this guy up here in the top left-hand corner? The most handsome guy in there. Stand up, Will. Stand up, Will. Stand up, Will. Now, I also want you to know.
That's right. Exactly. By the time he gets through.
Yes, Marguerite. There wasn't even any clothes out here, I think, in the picture. Mrs. McNally passed away.
Can you hear? Can you guys? Okay.
I really cleaned up. Well, and you know, I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing into all this.
This is the same floor.
This is the original floor.
I've been out.
So that was the return air vent there. There's the register there, and of course the doorway's been opened up. The original door was on this half. There was another register.
So that's the part that was over there.
I asked everybody to be careful because there are trespassers. You know what? One moment. Before you go any further, let me shut off the electricity. That's what I meant to do. Because there are wires.
Under here, and then you go out there, and then you come back under here, and you swirl around all the way. There you go. You come like this. You go back underneath.
Hey, well, you guys got me. I can take a picture of him now.
Nice shake, Chuck. You want some fries with that shake?
Okay. Inside here, if I'd like to come from the outside.
Because there's nothing in it.
Sit behind Grandma. Sit behind Grandma.
This was the story.
Yeah, the stove's going to be here. The sink will be there. I'm going to have the refrigerator over there. There was a single doorway there. There's a door that goes down into the basement there.
There's a basement?
Yes. And
That's where we had our little monkey stove and throw it on fire. We had to go down and build a fire. That's where my sister lost her eye. Wood and
Joshua. Anyway, it was just a single door there at the time when I bought the house, but I'm opening it up and turn that into more.
We had a breakfast nook.
The breakfast table will be there. This was all one bedroom.
That was my mom and dad's room.
There was a doorway here and a doorway there.
This is the hallway. Oh, this is where we talked to Lindbergh. This is where we talked to Lindbergh when Dad was here. You guys, this is right here is where the telephone was. And this is where Grandpa Black talked to Lindbergh. Chuck? This is where the phone was, when Grandpa Black was mayor, and he stood right here on the phone talking to Lindbergh.
Oh, is that right?
For the airport. And he called him Mary. He has a big joke, good sense of humor, Lindbergh. And he would answer the phone, he says, "So Mary's there." This was our hall closet. I mean, we had drawers.
There was a thing there in the wall for the phone.
I guess this was our room.
This is all wired for
access. Is this the end of it?
Yeah.
It looks like this is where that wall was. And there was a door here, it looks like, and then the wall. This is the closet with two windows. Both sides screw up towards here. Okay, and then this space right in here was just a bunch of windows. I mean, really.
It's kind of blurry though.
And then what was here? What was here? This was the one bedroom, and this was mine. That was my daughters, my sisters, then my mother and dad. Originally, this bedroom that turned out to be Mom's was for the reading room for Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, look at
It's pretty small closet. Yeah. But both of those areas together, I think he was closing part of it off in order to put washing. We could enter from each side. Then what's back on the next one? That used to be the garage. And there's the kitchen. And then this is the garage. And then you go down the basement right there. That's good. Then what they need to do is sit it down so close. Janet, why don't you take mom home with you? And then her last file, we just do this door.
And what's inside of you?
It used to be a garage.
Oh, so we're going right now. Yeah, and you're riding with us anyway.
Is there any way we can get a picture of he just sits around all day and does nothing.
Yeah, Sean told me to act like I was a moose in heat, little moose in heat. So up here now, come on, watch this movie. The upper seats, because it's a really old movie. The one that's picking her toenails. That's Pepper. And there's the left, because they didn't know where the middle of the movie was. Now that's my Aunt Sis. This is the Aunt Sis that I remember. Don't y'all remember?
Hey. Remember what to do? Okay. Yeah. Made by Porter and Connor, and it is called College 18.
I hate all the teachers, they're all bugging me, giving all the homework as far as I can see, tying me up with all these quizzes and tests. Sometimes I just gotta break free. I gotta break free! Break free! Gotta 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 break free! This kid is made by me, Port Phelps, and it's called Wet n Wild Something, and I hope you enjoy it. And and what? Let's just go. And open the curtain. Open the curtain. Go. Sorry. Whoa. No! Yeah, that means you!
Amateurs.
Whoa! That's his wave, dude!
Hello, we're live with Tony Hawk today. Is he skateboarding? No, he's surfing down in Hawaii, and here he is live.
Whoa! I just found out skateboarding is a sissy sport. Now a sissy skateboard? Watch how it's done.
Broken right wrist, master suite, traveled to New York.
Turtles in the pond. Turtles
who has been here all summer and those who are filling in at the very last minute. Miss Nikki has made it through an entire summer. Miss Maggie has been here for all summer, right? And Miss Felice has been filling in for Miss Karen in the office. We have all of our young children who are here with us watching this afternoon. So I hope that you all have a great rest of your summer, week and a half off before we start again. We do have some refreshments that the children made earlier this week. It's something that Miss Felisa, she taught us about. It's something that they have in the Philippines. This space is for the Philippines. So after we break apart, then we'll invite you to share in some of our refreshments. So we're going to head off the stage.
Turtles, turtles in the pond, turtles in the pond. Turtles, turtles in the pond with their backpacks on. Turtles, turtles.